All right, y'all. So there have been lots of questions about like texture release. That's really hot on the streets. I think the texture release, I don't know, Zelda. You think the texture release is like at least what, like 10 years old? Because it's a newer thing that was, I think, let's say this. I mean, and tell me if I'm incorrect, because I didn't come into the industry until 17, but the texture release, I believe, was something to replace or create another answer outside of relaxers, because before the natural hair boom, people had started kind of drifting away from relaxers because
Yeah.
of the data that was put out there about fibroids and whatnot. So do you think
Yeah.
that was like the answer to like the replacement for, or another option I should say, for relaxers?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that's well, first of all, let me say this. My name is Oluchi Zelda. I'm a licensed cosmetologist for 20 plus years. So I specialize in short hair and relaxers. So I am pro do whatever you want to do. If you want to be straight, if you want to relax, I am pro do whatever it is that you want to do. I'm totally okay with that. Let me say this. I don't want people thinking I'm favoring one way or the other. I think the thing with the texture release, it was to answer people who just, in my professional opinion, we're not 100% comfortable with being natural. I
Mm,
think the idea of people being natural, 100% natural, is still relatively new in the scope of Black hair. We just saw this natural journey maybe like 10, 15 years. And if we think about what it has been, at least here in the States, of our hair having to be, pressed to look professional, having to look all type of different ways to be professional and to be presentable to the world, that is a conditioning that some people just have not been able to fully release, and that's okay. That's okay. So I think texture release answers something more culturally than just texturally, if that makes any sense.
no,
Sometimes people are okay with having their curl pattern, and they need to kind of jump from 4 to 3 or 3 to 2 or whatever the numbering systems are. Yeah.
yeah, no, I can see that as that being a thing, because let's be honest, like our relationship, and this is, I don't even think this is just Black Americans, but I mean Black Americans do have an impact on what everybody else is doing throughout the diaspora with their hair. They're looking at us, they're seeing everything that
Absolutely.
we're doing with our hair. And I know this too to be true, because I was just talking to a stylist from the UK yesterday, and she was just talking about how like they're late to the game, but they're in the game and they're
Yeah.
watching Black Americans. With
Everybody.
everybody is right.
Yeah.
But with that even being said, like all of us throughout the diaspora, and I speak about this a lot because diasporically, we are connected. I don't care what y'all
Yeah.
want to think, we are connected, and we're all having the same experience when it comes to Black hair. It is not different from one place
Yeah.
to another. We all
Yeah.
are having this experience. But with that going into it, so Black Americans are setting the tone for natural hair, but Black Americans are like still kind of late-ish. You know what I mean? Because there's
Yeah.
people, I get clients all the time, like, I've been natural all my life. Y'all late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been here. But with even with that, historically, we just have not ever really had the opportunity to explore our hair through the Black gaze. I know it sounded like we're gonna be talking a little bit of, like we about to be real Afrocentric, but I mean it's the truth, right? It's, it's through the Black gaze. Our hair has been through a white gaze this whole entire time.
Yes, and I think that was a survival mechanism, right? I don't think it's just I think self-hate for us as Black people globally has been taught, and that's just the raw truth. It's been taught, and to have to recondition our mind and deconstruct that mentality is a part of a larger conversation that sometimes doesn't really get to happen, right? Like we really don't get what it means to have autonomy over our hair, our body, our look, and how we present to the world. And I think hair is just so much more than just texture and, curl, relax, not relax. It's cultural. It's the ability of whether you can get a job or not. In some states, literally things like the Crown Act just being passed as recently as 2 years ago, people being able to wear their hair as it grows from their head is a huge thing. So I, you know, um, I am pro whatever you want to do. I'm pro whatever you want to do. You want to be natural, you want to relax it, whatever's for you. But I always want people to consider your why and why you
Absolutely.
to get that, or why you have to have a different type of curl pattern as opposed to just being okay with your 5Z curl pattern. Why are you not okay with that?
Why are you not okay with that? Why are we not comfortable? And I have been such a big like supporter of giving us grace because
Yeah.
the things that we feel and we think, and I know y'all like, I thought y'all was talking about relaxer. We are the things that we feel, the feel, think, believe about your hair are not our ideas. And it
Yeah.
was something that you said earlier about reconditioning. I want all this deep conditioning talk that we always have, like, oh, you got to deep condition. No, we got to recondition. Like
Mhm.
more than deep condition, we need to recondition what
Absolutely.
we think about hair. I couldn't even tell you on a weekly basis how I'm erasing certain comments that come up in different areas of social media. Like, if, for example, there's somebody over here on this YouTube that keeps saying like, "Oh, y'all look like Krusty the Clown." That's not a compliment? So that's getting deleted because I
Yeah.
don't need that type of energy here in
Yeah.
space because of what you individually feel about your hair. And
Yeah.
so, like you said earlier, the relaxer was really a way for us to, it was a part of our livelihood that was
Yeah.
not necessarily a fashion thing, so to speak. It was more so that when the relaxer became well, I guess trending, we'll say, right? When it was trending, that was right around that time of the fro time. You know what I'm saying? There was a Black Power movement. So the
Yeah.
association with the Afro was an association with being basically a Black Panther. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we know what the if you don't know about the Black Panther movement, you could easily go on Google and look it up. But there was this, and it was such a politically what's the word I want to use? It was such a politically like charged thing to
Yeah.
do. And it wasn't just out in society, like in white society, it was even in Black society. I've had conversations
Yeah.
with clients, right? Who were like, my family was like, you cannot wear that. Like it was like, you cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the call comes from inside the house more than anything, though. Do you know what I mean? Like your hair is your glory, and there's all type of like political and social and even religious reasons why your natural hair was not okay. At least they were framed that way. There were all type of different reasons. So the call came from in the house before it came from outside. Sometimes
Mm.
in the house was conditioned to believe that that's what it is. Yeah.
Absolutely. So now we got these relaxers. And just so, because listen, I bought somebody over who knows more than I do because I don't know everything and I'm not trying to. But Zelda, as we know from even our cosmetology education, there are two
Yeah.
chemicals, right? There's two
Yeah.
types of chemicals used in the reformation or reformation of hair. That's what
Mhm.
how it's outlined in our cosmetology programs. So, what are those two things, those two chemicals?
So there are two primary chemicals, and then there are like four to five different classifications in one of those. So you have your thioglycolides, which are like your Gina curls or your Jheri curls or your S curl, wave pattern, leisure curl. That's in that thioglycolide chemical straightener. And then you have your hydroxide. So you have your sodium hydroxide, your lithium hydroxide, you have your calcium hydroxide, you have your guanidine hydroxide, and then you have your potassium. So there are different type of relaxers. The traditional relaxer that keeps you straight and dry in that hydroxide line, and then you have the ones that keep you curl reformed and kind of moisturized. Those
Okay,
are the main two like families, and then there are like subcategories under the families of straighteners.
okay. Now, Gina is new to the block. Have you?
Gina is an old girl that changed her outfit and got back in the club. Okay, Gina, and I'm not mad at nobody because the marketing is lovely. Okay, but Gina Curl It's a Jheri Curl. It's a Jheri Curl. It is in that thioglycolide line of chemical curl reformers. And I have nothing against Gina Curl and the makers of Gina Curl. I have nothing against it. We, you can have the same leather coat. I tell people this all the time. You can have the same steak at Outback or Steak 48, which is a prime restaurant. It is from the same farm, but one gives you low lights and ambiance, and the other you can bring your kids and you don't have to dress up. It's pretty much the same steak, and I feel the same way about the Gina Curl or the Jheri Curl. There are some that are more so marketed as a luxury experience, but it is primarily and chemically the same thing. There's not much of a difference in the derivative of the chemical. That's just me. But it's kind of cool. People say, Gina Curl, and this is when I see it, I'm proud of the marketing.
No, the marketing is slamming.
Yeah,
I can't even deny the marketing because the fact that we're even talking about it, right?
yeah,
That means that they
yeah,
did what they were supposed to do. The
yeah,
job was done. I think there's, you said chemically, it's the same thing as a Jheri curl. I think technically, I think they do something different with the Gina curl. Just one, I think it's like a different one step that they do that is different. And I think it was something, and I want to say this just because somebody like, well, whatever. I saw, I think the one step that they do is like they stretch the hair before they even put any chemicals on. I think that was the one thing that I think was the difference.
yeah. But you would also do that in certain type of California curl and leisure curls. You would do the same thing too. You would take the chemical and stretch the hair so that it's more pliable before you put on the booster, which ultimately locks in that curl. So it's come back, and I'm not against it because people want the curl pattern that they want.
Also the noses and what lips and whatever else it is. I get
Yes.
it. I get it. I'm definitely not a judger. I also never had a Jerry curl. Didn't never. I mean, I remember my grandmother had, both my grandmothers
I
had
had
curls.
one. I
You
had
had
one
what's
all
this?
1993. I was a last holder of the Jheri curl. I had mine to 93, baby.
I think my dad had just given his up around 93 because I could, he used to have a Jerry curl mullet baby. Okay. That's short on the top with the long. I'm pretty sure he
It was
probably
just
was.
maintenance though for my mom because my mom had three girls. My parents are from Nigeria. She did not know how to keep our hair. Now all the Afrocentric styles are cool, the braids, the plaits, the threading. But when we had those as kids, we got roasted, we got ate up, and was all type of everything. So the Jheri curl was the easiest way to assimilate for us, and it just
Mm.
like okay, let's try something different. But that
Oh,
Jheri curl, I was born in '83. I had that Jheri curl as early as I can remember. All the way to 93, baby. My first good 10 years.
oh, dear. But yeah,
Yeah.
I remember my other, so my dad had it, but my dad, I think around 93 is when because I remember him coming to my graduation, he had a fade. So he was out the Jerry Curl game. Sometime in the 90s he got out.
He
Um,
changed his mind.
he changed his mind, right? But
Yeah.
I never desired to have one. Like I was not even interested in, you know what I mean? And also I think too, if we think back to because the Jerry, Gina, both have maintenance. Like what is
Yeah.
the maintenancing of, I think because I did too when I was in cosmetology school on the same lady. She came back, she's like, she did it so good. I want to do it again. I was like, I ain't
Mhm.
never gotta do another one of these ever again. Okay. I
It's
don't
a lot of steps.
it's
It's
a
a
lot
lot of
of
steps.
steps. It's a lot
Yeah.
of steps. But in terms of the maintenance of said curl reformation, what is the maintenance? Because what after you get it done, you got to go back how often?
So it depends on how your hair grows out. You retouch the roots and then you would recurl the curl pattern. What happens whenever you're using like a thioglycolide type of straightener, what happens is that initially you get a tight curl pattern, but over time, over and over and over, you after a while you gradually loosen the curl pattern, and then you get a looser, wider curl pattern because of redoing the chemical. Even though they may retouch the root and then they re-rod you, to get that curl pattern locked in again, over time, if you keep doing it, you'll get a looser curl pattern. So over time, your natural hair is not recognizable. And also, this has to be said, whenever you get any type of chemical that goes past your hydrogen bond, the first, I guess, layer of protection for your hair. Of course, we know the hair is made in three different layers. You got your cuticle, your medulla and your cortex. Anytime you go into the hair and change up the disulfide bond, you no longer have your natural curl pattern. You no longer have, your hair is no longer considered natural, right? You don't have that. So whenever you do a chemical straightener or a chemical reformation where you're reshaping the bonds of your hair, you no longer are technically natural. And that goes for like texture releases outside of like amino acid because they don't penetrate the disulfide. But anytime you're using thioglycolides, which would include the Gina Curl, the keratin straighteners, which is formaldehyde, all those different things where you're going inside and you're reshaping the sulfide bond, you no longer have a natural. So I think some people think that they're gently tugging at their natural, where you're literally no longer technically natural when you get those products in your hair. And it's okay if you don't want to be natural anymore, but I think we're going for a look, and as opposed to what the purpose of the natural was. We're going for a look.
That I think that's just a thing, period. Like
Yeah,
most people, and I don't even want to say most. I want to say some people are chasing hairstyles, but
yeah,
everybody wants healthy hair.
yeah, yeah. And whenever you introduce a chemical change to the disulfide bond, you already compromise the hair. You just do. It's never going to be 100% the same. It's just not going to do that. There's a degree whenever you do anything, whenever you're messing with your hair too much in anything, you can damage your hair from over shampooing with the wrong shampoos. True story. You can damage your hair with heat. You can damage your hair in so many different ways. But a chemical is, I guess, the most certain and sure way to make sure that your original curl pattern is no longer there.
True, sure enough. Because combing, brushing, all things that are damaging, braiding too
Yeah,
tight, braiding,
yeah,
twisting, doing this all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Mechanical damage is a part of damage, which is why, and I know, again, I know we're supposed to talk about relaxer, but all these conversations or all these topics connect. When we're doing stuff as hairstylists, when we're like, nope, you can't do that, like we're saying, and I know we need to be better with our communication as a whole, but what we're saying is you could do it. We're saying you can't do it because we're keeping at the forefront the concept that you said you wanted healthy hair. Just know that.
right. I often tell my clients, you got to pick one. What's your priority? Are you choosing style first? Like if you got a list of the top three things that you want for your hair, which one is it? Are you prioritizing style or convenience? Because that'll let me know where to go. Or health of the hair, that'll let me know where to go. Or longevity of style, that'll let me know where to go. Which one are you prioritizing? Because oftentimes, sometimes we can't have both in the same family. And if you're like, well, it's just too hard to deal with my natural hair, it's like, okay, do you really want health as your primary thing? Then yeah, you're gonna have to learn how to make it less hard for yourself. You're gonna have to learn how to make the thing work.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that as someone who primarily does relaxers, because the first thing that people think like, well, natural hair is hard. I'll just go to a relaxer. And it's like, but relaxers are not necessarily easier. But
They're not.
what I think it is that it's familiar.
It's familiar, number one, and then two. I so so as somebody who does a lot of relaxers still, I feel like we have misused and abused relaxers. When I hear about what people do, it's like you shouldn't have had a relax on your hair for 20 minutes. Your hair is not supposed to be bone straight. Your hair is to be relaxed. You relax the curl pattern, not kill it. You want to relax it. You don't want to just lay it down and let it die. So relaxers got a bad rap because we have just been doing stuff like I don't want to see no curl pattern. It's to relax curl pattern, not to kill it. And just having to re-educate people on what it means. No, you cannot get your hair relaxed every 3 to 4 weeks because that's how you feel. Or, if your cut doesn't call for this, we're not going to do it. And I think just making sure that we educate around relaxers just as much as we're educating around any other topic, and making sure our clients are fully empowered. Like, this is what you need to do. There are 90 to, yeah, I want to say about a good 90% of my clients, the top of their hair is natural because we do a lot of blow drying. So, and if we're going in and out of color, baby, I can't relax and color this area. So we just have to kind of like strategically, we're gonna relax the sides and we'll use a lower level developer to get this look. The top is brighter, so we just gonna blow dry it out, and this is what it is. And it's just what it is. You have to kind of work with relaxers instead of just some of these things, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And that's just what it is. I think it's a lack of education as a whole for some people just thinking everything can be relaxed. I can get everything because I saw it on the internet. But what you didn't see is that this person took the side street instead of the main street and they
Right.
went to the back alley and they mixed their developer with this and they used a sodium here and a thioglycolide here to get this look. So there's a lot of like remixing that we do to kind of make these things work.
And let me tell y'all, I'm gonna make sure that Zelda's link is at the bottom to her Instagram so y'all can see for yourself. She does not play around with those short girls at all. And you would think that she was using relaxed. I mean, everything looks damn good coming from
Yeah.
over there. But I love the fact that you found like, and you're clear about it too, about the balance between like what we're going to use, even how you're even using the relaxer. Like you decided, like, no, this is not how my clientele is going to be using relaxer. We're going to be very liberal about it and
Yeah.
intentional. You're super intentional about your use of relaxer, which I absolutely love because we do come from a period. We grew up, I was in the 90s, okay?
Yeah.
Like I have relaxed my own hair several times
Yeah.
with super relaxer, no less.
Can I pause and just say this? There is not a human. Both my parents are directly from West Africa. Okay, I'm not even on the curl chart as far as my curl pattern goes. Like I'm not a 4C anything. I am about a 6ZW Z. I'm a 12Z on the curl pattern. Okay, I just none of the my curl is tight, and I use a mild. Nobody that I relax, I use past a mild, right? That mild, regular, and super, in my professional opinion, is a myth. It's a myth. The chemical is the chemical. The difference between the mild, the regular, and the super is the percentage of active ingredient, right? But you can manipulate that through time. You can take a mild and instead of processing for 8 minutes, process with 10 for 10 minutes and get the exact same result. I don't need to have 16% of this super strong chemical in my hair. This is when we get into my scalp is burning. This is when we get into my hair strands are coming out. No human being needs more than 10 to 11, 12% max of the product. So for me, I just use a mild on everybody. Whenever I'm mixing, even the sensitive scalps, whenever I'm mixing, I'm going to always mix a mild because we do not need that much chemical. It is a myth. We don't need that much chemical. We need better technique. We need better processing. We need better neutralizing of this product. We need to lay this product the way it needs to go, learn to be more efficient with how we place the product so that it's processing while we lay it. So we're not trying to manipulate, maneuver at the end. If we get it in right the first time, we're going to be good. But the problem is that we thought, oh, my hair's so nappy, I need a super. Baby, more of the wrong thing is not going to work. You need to learn how to properly relax it. And I always like to tell my clients, no C's at home, no cut, no color, no chemical. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You can flat iron at home. You can blow dry at home. You might even can do like some type of like some coiling or something to, with your top or some type of like, waving. But don't do any C's at home. No cut, no color, no chemical because you don't know what you're doing.
Oh
You're
yeah.
not a professional.
Definitely didn't know what I was doing. I was in college, and so my stylist was like, "Well, if you can't make it back home, just go ahead and do this little relaxer on your hair." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'll do it." I must have done it at least, I'll say, 6 times. I've done it on my own, and then when I had my hair cut really short, I had to relax them.
Yeah.
That had to be relaxed, and I'm talking about I
Yeah.
was relaxing it probably twice a month. Don't judge me because I had to. Yeah, first of all, my hair grows extremely fast.
Fast. Yeah.
And the other part is my hair is so thick. So the
Mhm.
minute like I get like a little millimeter of new growth, it's like the style is over with. Like we're done here. I'm not trying to curl this. I think
Yeah.
and not to get off the subject, but when I got my hair cut short initially, we just kind of like she didn't cut it as short. And I went back, I was like, listen, cut me down, cut me down. She took out those clippers and cut that hair down. And that's when it laid down. When she did
Yeah.
those clippers, that's when it laid down. It also cut me too.
Mhm.
because my hair is that coarse around.
Yeah.
I was washing my hair and I was like, why do I have all these cuts on my hair? My hair chopped, chopped and screwed my whole, like the whole
Chopped and
thing,
screwed.
chopped and screwed. Okay. So to say all that, this is the real conversation in terms of like, I know that there's a lot of news publications and data to support that there's a correlation between relaxers and fibroids, but there is also the misuse, abuse of relaxer that is really, I think, at the really top of the conversation, because I would love to know that. I don't even know if that data was collected. Were these people getting it done professionally? And even if
Ah,
they were, right, even if they
ah,
were, I still think there's a lot of education that needs to happen more around relaxers. In fact, like, and I might be wrong about this, maybe before, like, first of all, you should have to show a license to get a relaxer. That's just, I feel like
I
that
believe.
I'm all with that. And I even think that selling the relaxer should only be sold to people who have gone through an education about the system. Otherwise, you know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
don't, because I think if that education is ongoing in terms of how it's, applied and how it's
Yeah.
used. Because even though, like, okay, they was doing whatever in the 90s, right? Is we in 2024 now, and the landscape with clients is different in terms of
Yeah.
what they want, desire, and even how stylists want to work. Like, some people
Yeah.
want to work with less, toxic fumes or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be, right? And so even lowering the amount, just like you did, it's like, oh, we only doing this, put the
Yeah.
relaxer up, we done. Don't ask me to
Yeah.
do the top, don't ask me to do
Yeah.
the top, we putting color over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think I have a very I guess unique opinion about the whole conversation with relaxers and them, the C word.
yes.
And I can see how a misuse of it would happen, but me being a 20-year veteran, primarily focused on short hair, who has done thousands of relaxers, I don't rinse my relaxer with gloves. So I have had this chemical come in contact with me more than people get them done. And I don't have the C word or fibroids and never have. So I think sometimes we miss a big part of it. Like, if this person is working with this chemical that they come into contact with, why do they not have this? We don't ask stylists, why do you not have this going on? There are so many different factors that contribute to that. There's lifestyle factors. Um, so many different factors that contribute to it. There are also political and financial reasons why companies would choose to blow up the relaxer, because more people are natural now. So it's no longer profitable for them to sell relaxers. So, of course, they have to kill it and then steal back the market from some of the people who have been creating natural hair products. We don't connect the dots as often as we should sometimes. And I want us to start to ask, critical thinking questions. If a stylist has been doing this, I know some stylists who have been doing this for 30 years and have been doing relaxer week in, week out, at least 3 to 4 days a week, 2 to 3 relaxers, and our hands have been covered in it, and we don't have any of those symptoms that they're saying. Somebody who gets it once every 6 weeks, and this is the cause of it. It raises a brow for me to just start to think critically. We don't see about the misuse of the product. That variable has not been put out. We don't see about the concentration of the product. That variable has not been put in. Some of these same chemicals that are in relaxer are in our daily cleaning products. Sodium hydroxide is in lotion. A lot of lotions. If you just turn the bottle around, baby lotion, because it's an opening agent.
Shampoo.
Yeah, shampoo. We don't see it often in time. So it's not just we isolate the relaxers because it's the easiest villain to blame, but it's a lot of these girls, a lot of these products that have been contributing to so many different things. So I think anything you do, you have to use sense. You have to do it with respect. You can't abuse any of it. And I think relaxer, because it's so common, has been the fall down for someone, like, oh, that relaxer tore my hair out. It was the fact that you used a super for 20 minutes that tore your hair out. None of that makes sense. You could have used a mouth for 8 and got a better result. Or you could have just, did something else that would like slightly straighten your hair. That's when you get your text laxers and your different type of chemicals. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, it's interesting when I start to see, Kim Lewis blow up from, Curl Mix, and Michelle Rodriguez blow up from Mayel, and TGIN girls, and all these girls who are becoming millionaires, who are empowering people to love their hair, and certain companies don't have a piece of that pie. So why now they might have to create a new market. I just connect the dots a little differently. Maybe it might be the ADHD, undiagnosed, whatever it may be. But just to see some of the patterns of how the conversations are going is really interesting to me.
No, I hear you on that front, and I also think that listen, I always tell the girls like I just was trying to see something. I don't have
Yeah,
anything against a relaxer. I just
yeah,
stopped doing them. Like it's just like
yeah,
let me see. And it took me actually 2 times because I remember going to work one day and it's one of my coworkers. I came to work, and mind you, I had a Rihanna short haircut at the time. Came
yeah.
to work and I was letting go of the relaxer, and one of my coworkers came into work. He was like, I was like, "What?" He was like, he was pointing at my hair like, "No." I was like, "Oh, you hate it?" I was like, "Oh my God." So right after work, I stopped at Walgreens and picked up a relaxer, and I was back in the game.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
wasn't that I was like his opinion mattered. It was just like that exchange that we had, and it was summertime. So I was like, "Oh no,
yeah.
he gay." Like, no, he's
So let's
raising
go.
it. He's he, he's raising a red flag for me. I better take it right now. But when I
If he
found
circles back now though and sees the end of the
oh,
journey, or
I
yeah,
know he would. I know that he. I'm still friends with him, by the way. On I haven't seen him in a while, but he's a friend of mine on Facebook. So it's not
yeah,
even like this crazy thing. And again, I wasn't in a place where I was not feeling comfortable. Well, I was. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I was not comfortable because I was amongst people doing something that a lot of people weren't doing. Um there wasn't a lot of inspo. There was
yeah.
not a
If
lot
you
of
pioneer this thing, man, I feel like you for sure have been definitely a pioneer and just one of the people who had earlier visibility in the space. And just the authority of being a natural hair girl. Man, even when people come to me and say like I'm ready to relax my hair, and that's like I have to ask them like, are you sure about this? Because your hair isn't really damaged. You just need to hydrate it. I'm not a natural hair girly. The first person I always think of is you. Like, try her, ask her, just ask her. She gonna tell you, girl. Go to her page. She's one of the aunties with us. She's gonna tell you the truth. So I think just man, a lot of people I think we underestimate how many people really don't know how to manage their hair as it grows from their head. They just don't know. They default to the
they
yeah,
don't. Relaxers are familiar. Natural hair is
yeah,
unfamiliar. The things that I get to teach people about their hair, it's like I feel like, and listen, I don't want you guys to take this any kind of way, but I feel like I'm working with children, and not in
yeah,
a you don't understand kind of way, but in the way children explore the world. I
yeah,
think a lot about like when you take a small toddler to like this new place, and they're like, oh my, and they just go, they're like, ooh, rock. And so it's
yeah,
like, ooh, like the curls here are different from the curls back here. Like
yeah,
I just realized that, or finally connecting the dots on things because we have never had, like you said, the autonomy to be able to explore our hair without people bothering us while we're
yeah,
doing. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Now nobody's bothering nobody. But when I first went natural, I remember people acting like I was going in rooms and knocking relaxer boxes over. Like it was just that kind of energy at that time. Like, well, I'm still doing it. And I was like, I didn't even ask you actually what you was gonna do.
I feel like that thing. I feel like people are still bothering people though, because it is a thing. When people try to, I feel like there's also like a dissension energy. Like when people say, "Well, I'm so sold on going back, relaxing." It's like one of us. Like you're no longer one of us, or girl, like you're a deflector. You know what I mean? And it's just like let people do what they want to do. I often just challenge people and to say why. If the why is I just don't know what to do. Let's refer you to what can happen. Let's not waste the time. You know what I mean? But if it's just like, look, I want this look, I'm committed to this look. Okay, then let's go. You know what
But
I mean? Like, but I think that's the ultimate form of like, mental liberation. Is just choosing what's best for you. What's ultimately best for you. Now I'm all over the place, baby. I would go a short natural blonde in a minute. I sponge my hair. It's always going to be a TWA, whether it's relaxed or natural. It's just the moods that I'm in, baby.
she's not
It's
lying. She be on like, you go down that timeline, she got a Bobbiana on there for you too. Like if she feel like it, she's a I love that about you. And there's some other stylists that I follow who are always like changing their looks. I don't change my look a lot because well, I'm in color. It's just like
Yeah.
once you decide that you're in color, whatever is going on right there is going on. That's number
Yeah.
one. Number two, I have too much hair. I just have too
Yeah.
much hair to be like doing all this stuff. I'm not about to be doing, you ain't gonna see me online like, oh, look at this new hairstyle I'm doing. I'm gonna pay somebody, first of all, to use their arm strength to do it because it
Start there.
requires too much for me to do. You know that.
Yeah.
I cannot be bothered. So y'all
No.
getting this one look. But if I was going to get a bob and I wanted it to be like this, which I have a
Yeah.
bob, but if I wanted one of them sway feather bobs, I'm
Yeah.
getting a relaxer, people. It's not even up for discussion. I'm going to get a relaxer. As soon as
Yeah.
I feel that urge, like, you know what? I really want one of these. My bob's only going to last me 6 weeks, but I'm going to
Yeah.
do it. I'm going to get that relaxer. So I say all that to say, and to add to what Zelda's saying, like, find out what do you like? What
I
do
think that's the biggest
you
thing.
want?
I think that's the biggest thing. I think social media has been a huge blessing in the sense that, everybody gets to like choose and see different things. But then I think a lot of people are just choosing what other people look good in as opposed to really seeing what is good for them. Do you know what I mean? Like oftentimes people bring me pictures of these girls that they found on a Cut Life or Voice of Hair or any of these, online platforms that bring me a picture. And I say, put your thumb over her face. Like, do you really like this hairstyle? It's like, oh, that's different. Like now, cover the hairstyle. You really just like the girl. She's so super cute. You know what I mean? So now you want to get cute because she cute, as opposed to really just figuring out what's going on with your hair. I have had super cute moments with my natural hair. I've had super cute moments with my pixie. So it just really depends on the season that you're in and what you want to do. Sometimes I'm feeling it. I'm feeling natural with a sponge. But then I realized, like when I'm natural with a sponge, I kind of like this vibe with my makeup, or I'm kind of in this vibe or this space. And there are some times where it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm selling flat irons right now, so I want to be, in a pixie. That's where my business is going. This is the look that I kind of want to go to ride with my business. So it just really depends on, where you're choosing to go.
I again, I if y'all notice anything about these conversations that I've had with hairstylists, we are really on the same accord. We really are.
Yeah,
Every single
yeah.
one of them said the same thing. What do you want? Like,
What do
what
you
do
want to
you want to do? You know what you want to do. Like, because
do?
tomorrow you might have a bob. Like, if you, but it's summer.
I
I
already know I'm
know.
going back natural for August for Jamaica. I'm gonna be in Jamaica, dirty whining with my natural dirty whining. Like I'm gonna be because I'm not dealing
So
with
she already
nobody.
planned. You already planned
Listen,
for August.
listen.
You know
It's
how
gonna
she's
be a
planning? She's like, August, definitely duty wine.
yeah,
Natural. They're getting this
yeah,
natural. But for fall, I'm feeling a little festive. Y'all might get a vibe. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a vibe that
yeah,
goes with the seasons. And you should allow yourself, like, because I don't think a lot of people are tuned in enough to themselves to feel those things that I don't know, because I feel them too. Like I'm feeling, because I was kind of feeling like changing my color, but then I was like, but if I change my color, that changes all these other things. And so I was like, I
yeah.
can't change it. I'm just blonde forever.
Well, color is
I'm gonna
such a
tone
thing.
out.
It's like,
I'm gonna tone in and out of blonde. Like, okay,
yeah,
maybe I'll get something a little more icy. Like I need some ice, and I'll ice up for the winter because I'm losing
yeah,
my color. And it helps me to look warmer. It makes my skin look
mm,
warmer when I'm icy. So I
yeah,
like to look warm all the time because warmness for me, I don't know, looking warmer. And when I say warmer, that I'm talking about a tan. We all
yeah,
tan in the sun. But warmer for like looking warm for me just looks healthy.
yeah.
That's what I associate it with. It just healthy,
Because
it
it
looks vibrant, it just looks good. And so I want to, and I'm sure Zelda would agree, I want to encourage y'all to start thinking about like, what do I want to look like? Also, what do I have time for? Because she's sending people like, okay, I'm just tired of my hair. Nah, let's sit down because I'm not
is.
about to pull that relaxer out because you tired. What do you
Exactly.
want to do? Because if I put this on your hair, you are now coming here every 12 weeks.
Yeah, I tell people that, it's a different commitment. Like, okay, it's convenient for now, but then financially, are you committed to 150? Are you committed to every 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Are you committed to this? This is now a bill for some people. It's their car note. I actually had two clients that were getting approved for a mortgage, and it's like, who's this Oluchi Zelda that I keep seeing you Zelle every 2 weeks, every 2 to 6 weeks? Like, it's a part of people's budget. They had to like tell them like, no, I'm getting my hair done, and that happens whether you're relaxed or natural. But the frequency from which it may happen, or again, the autonomy of you doing your hair at home. It's like once you're my client, you're not relaxing your hair at home. We on this we go together. So are we in it or not? You know what I mean? Are we in it or not? And I would just tell you up front day one, like, look, you need to talk to a natural hair care specialist. Like, this person specializes in it. These girls get it right. I have to refer to them sometimes when I'm getting my education because there was no space, and these are the girls who get it right. So there is so many times I've been telling people literally like, look, go to Black Girl Curls right quick. See what she said.
Like, I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want that. I really want my hair to be straight. But no, I get it. So now that relaxer is kind of like, because here's the thing. I want y'all to also know there are a lot of people getting relaxers and they're not making a stink about it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're silently like that letter G and lasagna going
Mm-hmm.
to get their, it's not something that they need to like wear a badge of honor for,
Yeah.
be a part of a club for. They just are getting their relaxers and minding their business and drinking their water. Okay, and it's a lot of people. I
Yeah.
just want to be clear about that. It's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are doing this. And I'm not anti-relaxer,
Yeah.
but now you have the girls who are they're natural, but they don't want to get a relaxer, and so now they're seeing all these texture release systems popping up, and they think that these texture release systems are going to one, make their hair more manageable, two, loosen their curl pattern. Oh, and three, of course, make their life a lot easier. What do you have
Uh,
to say about that, Zelda? Because
heck,
if anybody gonna get this straight, it's gonna be you. So what's up?
so there are several different type of texture release products. Some of them literally are just super mild relaxers. Some of them have like 3 to 4% of sodium hydroxide, as opposed to the traditional relaxer that may have 10 to 16% of sodium hydroxide. So some of them literally are just texturizers, which is just a very extremely mild version of a relaxer. So you're chemicalizing your hair regardless, right? And if you leave it on long enough, it's going to act like a relaxer because it's
Mhm.
going to have the same chemical process, because time now makes up for strength. Um, there are some that are made of different like formaldehyde bases, which the keratin treatments and all those things, which would be classified as, texture release type of things. I'm not a big fan of it. For health wise, that's something that goes into nail polish. And if you think about how hard nail polish is and putting something like that in your hair to seal it or to keep whatever, release of curl, not a big fan of that either. And just working with people who have had, keratin straighteners and all those different type of texture release ish type of things, the hair is always compromised at the end. So it's like you got the temporary straightness, but now it's given chopped because there's one area that's longer, there's one area that's weaker. I'm seeing like stringy towards the end, and then when you need to touch up, your hair is nice and full. So I don't know about that either. There are some texture releases that are amino acid based. So it's the thing that most closely reflects what's happening in your hair. But there are some that are sulfide. It's just like the surfactants in the shampoo that are sitting inside of your hair. So I'm just not a fan of any of it. Like, this is just my personal opinion. Is my personal
Again,
opinion.
it's her professional opinion. This does
This is
not speak
my
for every
professional.
stylist.
Stop me. Unless you plan on, I always ask people two things like, are you just a natural by default, or are you a career natural? Meaning, like, some people stop getting relaxers because it just wasn't good for their hair and scalp, but they still wear their hair pressed. They still like to be straight. If you're like, that's the natural by default girl, then cool. You can do maybe an amino acid straightener texture release because you're blending it with your weaves. You know that the relaxer was too harsh for you, so you're natural by default, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But there are some girls who are like career natural, like I would call you a career natural. Like, you wear your hair natural. It is what it is. It's a signature look. You respect your curl patterns. Career natural should never have any of those things to their hair. In my personal opinion, you have to learn how to respect your curl pattern. You have to learn how to educate yourself with your hair. You have to learn how to hydrate your curl. It's not a one size fits all thing. You don't need to buy up every new thing that comes out. You don't need to buy everything from the line they releasing, rice Hawaiian, onion salt dip, all these different avocado, olive oil, coconut, all these different. Find out what's going to properly hydrate your hair. Find out what works for you. I'm not a natural girl, but it is my belief that once you find a good routine, maybe 3 to 4 products, you don't need to have a whole shelf of stuff depending upon what you have going on. You don't need to have like everything, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But I just feel like for the career of naturals, no. When I ask my girls, is this just, sometimes people have events where they have like, something black tie and they don't want to, because they want to switch up their look. That a texture release is not for you. But there are girls who consistently wear like micro links or weaves, or they want their hair straight, but they just don't want to relax. So then you can start to think about, your texture releases and, all those other things. But even then, there's still a degree of damage. So you just have to be careful of, how you play it, if that makes sense.
No, just making sure that whatever you choose, the maintenance aligns with that thing. So
Yeah.
even with your, like you said, your texture release girls, there's a certain level of maintenance that goes with it. They definitely
Yeah.
need to be in the salon somewhere between every 8 and 12 weeks. And a
Yeah.
haircut is happening every 8 to 12 weeks, so that we're clear, because that's the only way we're going to maintain that hair from keeping it from splitting up and breaking off,
Yeah.
that it
Yeah.
keeping our eyes on it, like okay, whatever we did the last 8 weeks or whatever, that works, let's keep doing it. It's somebody keeping an eye on it, so it doesn't get to a point that you do risk compromising it further than it has
Yeah.
already been compromised. Like there's a compromise, the controlled compromise, I would say, that's controlled. Like my color is a controlled compromise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Technically, it's a controlled compromise. I got color in February. I cannot get any more color. What's that? Oh God, I can't get any more color to October. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it, but
Is Kristen still coloring your hair?
no. So my friend in Dallas colors my hair now. She comes up.
What's her name?
Her name, she goes by Silk by Sunny on Instagram.
I think I've seen her work. I like her work.
So
SONIE.
SONNIE, I believe. Yes, that's
Yeah.
Silk by Sunny. Yep.
Yeah.
She comes up to Chicago probably like once a quarter, does color while she's here, and then I'll
Yeah.
either get my color done or I'll go down there. But I know
Yeah.
because it's summer and I like to pull my hair back, I know she's gonna need to,
Whoa.
this is February. I know she's gonna need to come like do a little.
Girl, if I had that type of hair growth, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me. I'd be on a yacht in Italy twerking.
Well, let me
Baby,
hurry up and let me get it together, because why am I not?
I don't know why. I don't. You're wasting your. Baby, it takes my hair 2 to 3 business years to grow back out. My hair is
Not
so
business
stubborn with
years.
the growth. Oh, I have,
Oh, not
baby, it is.
business years. Not business years. Yeah, I only need to get this part though, just the front part. I just need
Yeah,
her to touch that up for the summer because I like to pull it back.
from
But
February. My God.
yeah, February.
Wow.
So and I've been stressed, believe it or not. And I
Yeah.
mean, to make it through stress and still have your hair, I'm thankful for the for Big G for keeping it up. But but there's maintenance that needs to, like, there's control. Like we know what we're doing. We know we did the color in February. I know what kind of treatments I need to do in between there. I cannot be as much as, I mean, I have a ton of product only because again, I'm a hairstylist and people expect me
Yeah.
to know about all the products on the market. So I do have to dibble and dabble, but I also
Yeah.
like, I pull back. Like I'm not dibbling and dabbling in products. In fact, when I do use new things, I literally use those things for probably like a month, because
Mm,
I can really tell like what is going on with it for at least 4 shampoos. I'm going to at least use something. Now I did use something recently. I didn't use it for shampoos because I didn't really have time, but I got what I needed from the first shampoo.
mhm.
But no, I do that so that it's real controlled on purpose. So I'm saying
Yeah.
to say like hairstylists are doing now. Some of us, let me be clear, because I'm right now all hairstylists, but some
Mhm.
hairstylists are working in a very controlled way because that is how we keep up with what is going on with your hair. This is why hairstylists say use this specific product. Why are we asking you to use a specific product? Because we know that product in and out. The minute you experience a challenge, we ask all the right questions. We know exactly what occurred with that product. We're not saying use these products because these product companies are putting all this money in our pockets. We're saying it because we understand that product so in and out that if you do run into a jam, we are ready to have a resolve or come up with a game plan of what we're going to do next. We're no different really than doctors in some instances. Because
and then you can't be with everybody either. I think sometimes people have to find a commitment. You know what I mean? Like you can't be. I do feel like people should have at least two go-to hairstylists because life is life. Like it's impossible for me to curl everybody. It's possible for me to do everything. I have children. I have things going on where I'm just not as committed to behind the chair as it's just not at this point in my life. So you should have something, but find two quality hairstylists at least that you can kind of trust their expertise, that you can kind of trust. Like, I know this person isn't just gonna pick up any old ebon and put it in my head. Like they're gonna put something.
Pretty
They're gonna,
much. Pretty
yeah,
much. So the point we're getting at too is that okay, we said relaxers, right? Maintenance. There's maintenance that comes with that. Texture release, there's maintenance, and both of those things are something that can compromise your hair. Not probably, no, your hair is going to be at some level of compromisation, or it's going to be compromised either way, however you want to look at it. It's going to, but it's about having someone being there to have this set of eyes that you do not have. You don't have these eyes. You don't have these eyes to be able to look at it. Same thing that goes with being natural. A lot of, as Zelda has already pointed out, a lot of it is that we simply just don't know how, what, why to do with our natural hair. And pulling out relaxers is not going to solve it. Using a texture release, not going to solve it. Getting a Gina Curl, not going to change it. Also locs, because now locs have become the new, I'm about to do this because I think it's easy. I am here to tell you, and Zelda is definitely going to agree with me. There is none of this shit easy. Okay, and I had none of it. None of it's easy.
You're gonna need maintenance regardless. You're gonna need maintenance regardless. Even as somebody who is currently wearing a low barber cut, I still have to make sure my barber has me on his books. Do you know what I mean? Like everything is going to have a degree of maintenance to it. And locs, after I just recently saw a clip of a loctician saying that locs, as she said, as a loctician, I'm telling you that locs is not a lifetime hairstyle. That after a while, if you keep your locks on, your hairline will recede. And I was just like shocked to hear a loctician say, like every 7 years, cut your hair off and let's start over. And I was just like, wow. I forget which loctician said that, but I just
I
recently
know
saw that.
the video went around, so I'm pretty sure that everybody has seen it because it was so. The way she presented it was like jarring, but not jarring. But it was jarring. Let's be honest, it was jarring because she said it, and this is how she makes her money, like to speak like that. So it was definitely jarring for people to hear that because it's again new information too, right? But I mean, honestly, that just makes sense. I feel like every 7 years anyway, the people are changing anyway. Like they feel different. They have a different thing they want to do. Like I know telling my grandmother, if I ever I've shared a picture before on social, but my grandmother had tons of hair. And when I'm talking about, people thought my grandmother legit had a wig. And when I look at the picture, I see why the people thought my grandma had a wig. Because we're talking about late 70s. And she is at this party. This picture I have of her. I mean, when I talk about perfection, Instagram could never have whatever that lady, whoever's doing her hair, killed the game on that press. I don't know if she had a relaxer or what, but her hair looked beautiful. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because she had so much hair, right? Now, when my grandmother got older, she then got a curl, and then she took her curl off and she cut all her hair off. I don't know what's in the cards for me. I'm saying all that to say that. I don't know. I might one day decide, like, you know what, tired of all of this. I'm about to cut it off. You know what I mean? We don't know what's in the cards for us. I've cut my hair only like short one time, and it was literally, let's see, when did I do this? I was like 30-ish when I did it because Rihanna just kept coming up on my screen when she had that shortcut. That was her most amazing hair time for me when she was short. That was
Yeah.
hair was everything when it was short.
Yeah, he used to kill it. Oh my
She
God.
was still that shortcut. And I was
Yeah.
like, I have never cut my hair this short. Let me go ahead and do it. And I wore that cut for 2 years. I had 11,000 different renditions of it because, a pixie can be done so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's like pixies are like, and actually I think any haircut is like Thanksgiving leftovers. We made that, right? Right? We made this big ass dinner, right? And now the next day now we making turkey sandwiches and now we got turkey salad. If you
Yeah.
get a really good haircut, you will have
You
Thanksgiving
can do
leftovers.
anything. Yeah.
So that haircut, baby. I remember one time coming in, I said, "Hey, I like the way this short." It was a white girl picture too. I was like, "I like this short version. I want you to cut it this short because of how fast my hair grows, and I'll get to enjoy the cut longer." I was out here with I'm talking about the little baby pixie, pixie down. Okay. I had to stand it up. I did all kinds of stuff with it. So I'm saying again, you don't know where you're going to be at when this next, I don't know, this next the next wave hits you.
Yeah.
You don't know where the next wave is going to take you, but just go ahead and honor like whatever your spirit is telling you, like, to do at this moment. If it's like, you know what, girl, just cut it off. Guess what? This is a great time to be cutting hair. It's about to be warm. About to be warm. We about to be outside. I hope y'all are outside getting some sun. About to be outside. Just enjoy it. Like, I feel like we're not enjoying hair like enough. It's just become so like, I don't know. People are just too restricted. And again, don't come for the girlies who just like they found their signature look and that's what they doing. That's what some people do. Most girlies are signature look girls and they gonna wear that signature look. They're not changing it. Don't feel pressure to have a new look every single week. That is not, if that's not you, it's not you. It's fine. It's not. It's fine. Yeah. So we got our relaxer. We touched on Gina Curl. Well, curl reformation.
He's rebranded and she's back.
Jheri has rebranded and now she's gone from Jheri to Gina. Okay.
Right.
No shade.
That's the granddaughter.
That's the granddaughter. Okay, she out here twerking. Keeping the dream alive. But do what it is. Do what it is that feels really good to you, because I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and Zelda for sure is gonna be doing whatever she want to do with her hair. So I want to thank Zelda for like coming and like giving us like all the things that we needed to know about chemicals, what they mean. And if you didn't get anything, I think, out of this conversation other than like maintenance, keep the maintenance in mind. Keep the maintenance and the cost, because that also is going to play a huge role in what it is that you choose to do with your hair. Well, thank you again. This was a great and I miss you in real life. Like, I haven't seen you in so long.
That's what they gotta know. We've been in the thing before Instagram,
Let me
before all
tell y'all something. I didn't know Zelda. I knew Zelda's sister, and I met Zelda through her sister, because and in fact, your sister and I worked at the same place. My coworker was like, together. Her sister is a very talented seamstress, but either way, I came into connection with Zelda from seeing your sister out one day. You was like, "Hey, girl," I was like, "Okay, we friends now." Before babies, and also she had bought
girlies before the year.
Yeah, we was girlies before, and she bought me a gift. It was the nicest thing. When I was pregnant, you bought me a gift. We didn't even really know each other for real, but she was like, "It was on my heart. I had to bring you." I will never forget how you extended that to me. So I will never ever forget that, because I was like, I just met her 2 months ago.
I'm like that. Like, he's having a baby.
Right. No, it was the sweetest thing. But I know that is Zelda. That's her like in spirit, but she's also very, very talented, and very smart. And she's been in this industry for a minute. So if anything, I gave you some flowers today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your knowledge was much appreciated. And until the next Black Girl Curls podcast, I will see you all next time. Thank you again, Zelda.
Bye, y'all.